So I think it would be extremely in character for Dracula to completely ignore Trevor and just go side questing instead.
That sounds about right.
He's going to come back with smokes at least.
Yeah, the smokes that he spent 900 years getting. Yep, it's a frozen door. You just use the chaos bombs to get rid of it. It's basically another disguised loading screen. And this is also a hidden shortcut back to, if you remember this area, where, we first really had our first interaction with Trevor.
Oh, the place where we found the guys who drank the Kool-Aid.
Yes. So, because this video has so much backtracking and, 100% related cleanup, I figured, I have talked about quite a bit about the allegations surrounding MercurySteam and the development hell that this game underwent. Oh, also you can dodge the Harpy's sword drag attack with mist. Anyway, I have some a printout here of some notes from an anonymous developer that essentially was in contact with several users on Spanish gaming forums at the time. And they basically created not necessarily a strict chronology of events, but enough that they were able to leak things to the press. Specifically, the Spanish website FS Gamer, which is now defunct, but at the time it was one of Spain's biggest gaming journalism websites.
Okay.
So it seems that the biggest thing was that Enrique Alvarez, who was the creative lead on both Lords of Shadow 1 and 2, fame apparently just went to his head following the critical success of the first game. And he just decided that Lords of Shadow 2 was going to be his masterpiece. Although, apparently, from what the developer said, I'm just looking over my notes here, that this was apparently similar to behavior that he already had, but not to this extent. Like, this was much worse. All right, so apparently, he just gained a big distrust of his fellow developers. Most of the development team was, like the leads of each department were mainly made primarily of, not necessarily out of people who were best suited for the job, but rather people who were either with the company for longest or people who Alvarez personally liked.
Okay.
Huh.
And there was also, from what is being said here in this leak, that there's also just a lot of general miscommunication. That it got to the point where, basic programmers, artists, and other low-level staff were finding out about game features through the press before they learned about it from their own department heads.
Oh my god.
Oh, I remember hearing about that, actually. Yeah, that's a big old what the hell kind of deal. Why did you just do like a backstep from this thing?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna quote directly from a Spanish to English translation here of part of the report from the anonymous developer here. The studio's internal structure is archaic. Still based on the old partners of the Scrapland days. I think he's referring to American McGee's Scraplands, which was one of their earlier games. I'll give you an example so you can see the full picture. The studio's signature engine, the Mercury engine, one with many flaws, was solely coded by two people, one of them being a founder of the company and Enrique Alvarez's confidant. Access for the new programmers to the source code to update or refurbish the engine is denied, so things are still done in a 10-year-old fashion.
Oh, joy.
Wow. And that's this engine.
This is with the Mercury Engine 2, which interestingly also contradicts a lot of the information I found about the Mercury Engine 2 being rebuilt from scratch.
It's that was PR buzz then, I guess.
It seems to have been either that or someone is lying.
It reminds me of like some of the PR buzz I remember for like Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, where they said like they got a brand new engine up and running for Metal Gear on PSP because they couldn't do like the console engine. But then, according to some like developer interviews or whatever, it was like a scaled down version of the Subsistence engine for MGS3 on PSP.
Yeah. Didn't they end up making a new engine for Peace Walker, though?
I am sure they did.
Or was that just a scaled down MGS4 engine?
I don't know if it was a scaled down MGS4 engine or a scaled up Portable Ops engine. But the games are so similar, I wouldn't be surprised if they were basically kissing code cousins, so...
Yeah, I can't imagine they would, they could get away with the MGS4 engine just because I imagine it was, like, super, super heavily tailored to the PS3, but, yeah.
I hear a lot of the runners describe it as MGS3 Lite, so it kind of makes sense that they scaled a PS2 engine, question mark?
Wait, are we talking about Portable Ops?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
That was the Saturn Jazz music.
I heard it. I still love that version. It's so good.
Also, let's look at some animations about the Chupacabra minding his shop.
Where'd you go, buddy?
I hear him, but I don't see him. It's like rats in the walls.
This is legitimately adorable.
Yeah. And it loops after a while, but there's about 5 or 6 different animations for the Chupacabra.
Alright, I appreciate the attention to detail, fellas.
And while we're here, we're going to buy a couple of things, because we're finally going to be entering the Kleidos mirror. So we better stock up on a couple of things before we do so. And while I'm here, since I remember I forgot to edit this part out, while we're here, let's see, yes, leadership communication problems. Okay, so the other direct quote from Vadajuegos, which was another Spanish gaming website that confirmed some of the anonymous developers' stories, their quote is, "In the end, the leads, or like the project leads, ended up being the people who had been here for the most time or laughed the most at Enrique Alvarez's jokes." There's probably some translation issues there, but, it gets the idea across.
Ass kissers.
Or ass laughers, I guess. And then there's, I don't know if I have enough time to talk about this, there's also the issue of Jose Luis Vallejo, who was the art director of Lords of Shadow 2, Lords of Shadow 1, excuse me. He ended up quitting halfway through development of this game because he was just completely fed up with Alvarez's bullshit.
Wow.
Which explains some of the inconsistencies in art direction in this game.
I don't blame him.
The anonymous developer claimed that Konami was overall displeased with this game, but neither Vadajuegos nor FS Gamer were able to confirm that directly. Anyway, let's enter the mirror.
Oh, the mirror.
Oh, you found a Kleidos. How wonderful. It has been so long since I've seen one of these.
Just read the damn spell.
Yes, of course. Ah,
That's it?
that's what it says, sir.
Huh.
Go ahead, my lord. Choose a challenge.
This is the Kleidos. It is basically an extended challenge mode. And notice those conditions.
Excellent choice, my lord. Ah. Follow me, your excellence.
This little waddle. I love it.
This is impressive.
Is he gonna fight with us?
You'll see.
If you don't mind, I'll wait for you in here. I wish you luck.
No, come with us. Fight. Get back here.
I could use a large projectile like you. So you notice those challenges, or like the specific sub-challenges. Challenge number 4 is to complete all three sub-challenges in one run. The way it works is challenge number 1 is always to survive, and challenge number 2 or 3 are very difficult sub-challenges, and then challenge number 4 is to complete all of them in one go.
Question. How do you fail challenge 1?
Well, no, you fail challenge 1 by dying.
And thus failing the entire mission.
Yeah, challenge 1 is just completing the bare minimum requirement.
Okay. Every time I see objectives like that, I always think they're like purely optional. But yeah, I suppose I suppose at least making one of them, you know, completion is not a bad idea.
Yeah, well, the way... Okay, yeah, I was just showing off my first failed attempt there. But the way that it works is that you complete each one of these, and it gets you another point, and those points go toward unlocking more challenges.
Huh.
So you can just beat it bare minimum by getting 1 point by just completing the challenge by the skin of your teeth, or you could get 4 points by completing every single challenge in one go.
Okay.
So for this challenge, we have to only we have to not use the Chaos Claws at all, and we have to kill all 3 dungeon jailers within 30 seconds of each other.
Oh, that's why you're staggering their
Yeah,
health
that's
bars.
why. That is specifically why I'm staggering them. Actually, no, we have to. There cannot be. Yeah, it has to be 20 seconds in between dungeon jailer kills.
Ooh.
So that's why I brought them all to red first.
That's a good call.
Yeah, you also noticed I've turned off the Chupacabra's voice. Because this is one of the few sections where he has a lot of dialogue, and it does get very annoying.
A lot of dialogue, and by that you mean the standard 3 audio clips that every character gets.
Yes. It is always very satisfying to see those 4 check marks appear.
Impressive, my lord! Only you could do that!
I am all that is man!
Now, if only he had facial animation to go with his Super Saiyan pose there.
Oh, for a second I thought we were talking about the Chupacabra. That would be even better.
Oh no, I'm talking about Gabriel. He just a very stoic Dragon Ball charge up.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, he's about as expressive as Broly.
Alright, so for this one, we were fighting 2 Satan's Army soldiers and a bunch of possessed citizens. And I think we can only use the Shadow Whip, and I think the other one is not to get grabbed by their inescapable grab attack that the Satan soldiers have. Oh no, sorry.
Huh.
Sorry, the third one is to maintain a Yeah, it's to maintain a perfect combo for 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Which reminds me of when I had to do that against... It was either All Rocks or Bronner, I can't remember which, in Lords of Shadow 1. I still hate those Lords of Shadow 1 trials.
They get ridiculous fast.
Yeah. Like, as much, these are considerably harder than the Lords of Shadow 1 trials were, but they also feel like... They feel designed, right? They don't feel as tacked on as the Lords of Shadow 1 trials do.
Presumably they planned for these a lot earlier in advance.
Yes. Yeah, also that 3-hit combo by Satan Soldier there is it is really awful. And almost inescapable without mist. Not entirely, but almost.
Is it always in this arena?
Yes.
Okay.
How many of these guys are there?
It's 3 waves.
Oh.
So I fast forwarded through the rest. It's basically the same thing. Anyway, let's see if I have time for one more crazy fact. Oh yeah, also the developers hated the stealth section, specifically the parts where you turn into a rat. Which I disagree with. I like the rat parts. It's the other stealth sections I hate.
I have to assume there was a specific development challenge that made them hate that.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And at some point, one of the major delays at the end of the game, at the end of the game's developments, the game had to be delayed 6 months, and Konami did not fund that. That came entirely out of MercurySteam's pocket.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
So yeah, only 90% of the horrible things about this game's development were MercurySteam's fault. Although the anonymous developer did go out of his way to say that most of the people that he worked with were excellent people, and that really most of the blame that he assigned for the terrible things that went on with the game were Armory Galvarez and his Legion of Ass Kissers. Also, I forgot to include the challenge for this one, so this is the description. Look at this shit.
Huh.
Show them that the legend of the dragon is...
Also, when you fail challenges, it kind of works like the Gore Nest challenges from Doom Eternal, where it consumes any resources that you use up during failed attempts.
Oh, ew.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is like the only really bad part of Doom Eternal, aside from the Revenants, of course. This was recorded several weeks after the other challenges, and I forgot / didn't care about muting the Chupacabra here. This is a montage of my failed attempts to do this challenge properly, especially because it involves the draining attack. You cannot take a certain amount of time, or you cannot spend a certain amount of HP sort of embraced in the Dishonored Vampire's HP draining attack. So what I ended up doing here is I just used Chaos Bombs, because that's another part of the challenge, is to only attack harpies with projectiles. Oh, and I think off screen I stocked up on relic ammunition, because you basically have to go back and grind for it.
That sounds unfun.
Or you could always just buy it from the shop, but that also costs XP. And then once the harpies were destroyed, I just used a talisman.
Man, why doesn't that count as a ranged attack? Or does it have to be projectile specifically?
It has to be projectile specifically.
Okay, I guess that covers that then.
But the thing was, you cannot break the shields of the Dishonored vampires, and I guess it doesn't count if you use the talisman. I'm grateful for that, because otherwise that challenge probably would have made me quit the LP. And there's worse to come. Oh boy, is there ever worse to come.
Oh no.
In fairness, I was probably a little underleveled when I did that challenge, but there's really only one move left in Dracula's Arsenal that we haven't gotten yet.
Interesting.
So I was hoping at this point that I could end this particular section of the Kleidos portion of the video by rewarding ourselves with either a Chaos or Void Gem, but I was just short.
Ah.
Ooh. Would have been nice, though.
It would have.
Hope to see you soon.
I was also very sad about it.
So, how many versions of Baka Mitai are we gonna hear in this?
Just the one.
I meant through the LP.
Well, I might add one more. Who knows?
Thinking about it, I think there's like 4 or 5 versions.
Well, and there will be an extra one with Yakuza 7, probably.
Oh, I'm counting that one actually.
Otherwise, I'm canceling my pre-order. Alright, anyway, so, okay, more spilling some tea, as the kids call it these days, with MercurySteam. Let's see here. Okay, so, apparently company culture got so bad that, many people working at the studio would just, quit outright when MercurySteam wouldn't even bother trying to make a counteroffer. It got to the point where I think by the end of development, 35 developers had left.
Wow.
That's
Actually, no. That was. Sorry, no. I'm getting two different things. This is after. Sorry, this is their. Sorry, that was their layoffs. Mercury laid off 35 employees following the completion of Lords of Shadow 2, and we don't have a number on how many quit mid-developments without receiving a counteroffer.
Jeez.
Also, that slow motion is kind of important for something that will show up later. We'll talk about that when that comes up. So I mentioned before about the art director. He quit, and he is now at Tequila Studios. At the time of 2014, he was working on a game called Rime, R-I-M-E.
Oh, that game.
Yes.
That does sound familiar.
Also, pay attention here. I ran past 2 jailers, and they hit me through the wall.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yep.
Oof.
I mean, you gotta hand it to them. They are probably the elite among their class.
I just heard 35 developers go oof at the same time.
Okay, so again, I'm going to quote more directly here. Okay, the production management for this project, Lords of Shadow 2, has been terrible. Way often, the heads of each department dismissed every production deadline and imposed their own criteria. Again, there's no management here. As a result, the development was delayed for 6 months, and as I mentioned before, that investment was funded solely by MercurySteam with nothing coming out of Konami. You know what this really reminds me of? It reminds me of the stories I've heard about Team Bondi.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah, specifically like the way that Robert McNamara had a massive amount of control over every aspect of LA Noire, to the point where Rockstar, that known bastion of worker safety, had to step in and tell him to fuck off. When Rockstar tells you you're not treating your employees right, you've done goofed.
Yes. That's all I'm going to say is yes.
Frankly, I'm still amazed they managed to put out a game.
Yeah, and a fairly okay game that is occasionally great. Anyway, this is also another missed shortcut, as in a shortcut involving mist, not one that you can miss. And it goes back to where we fought the Gorgons. Yes, I'd like to check out. Please give me my hotel key.
Wait, what? Don't you mean check in?
Well, in Chupacabra's hotel, everything works backwards.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so we're going to end the video, not with an elevator, but by standing at the edge of the elevator and listening to the Chupacabra mumble to himself for a little bit.
The dinosaur chewed the face of the man and ate it and enjoyed it.
Well, that wasn't disturbing.
I would have expected that to be backmasked.
And he was immediately fired from MercurySteam.
All that back sass.